Salute, MobTube. How's everybody doing tonight? Um, I wanted to say a couple of things before we get the show started. Obviously, tonight I have Jimmy and Marie Cirelli. They're going to be telling some stories, talking a little bit more about their aunt and uncle and their father, the Ravenite, Gotti, stories about Little Italy and Mulberry Street. I had them on last Monday, as you guys know, but I wanted to have them back because they have more to say, and everybody loved them. So I think it'll be entertaining, and everybody will enjoy it. I know I will. Before I get started, I just want to say um, I started a Twitter finally. So if everybody will go follow me at Fatbald Sicilian on Twitter. Also, I'm on Instagram at Fatbald Sicilian, and Patrick Borriello. When he was on, he didn't get to plug his Instagram. It slipped his mind. So everybody follow Patrick Borriello on Instagram. I know everybody loved his interview as well. It was fantastic. I would love to have him on again sometime. So, also, uh, you know who, John A. Light, did a little interview today. I don't even want to shout out the channel that it was on, but it was more of him, telling his bullshit lies and, doing what he does. And he said some questionable things that I think if most of us said, we'd probably be arrested. So tomorrow, hopefully in the afternoon, I want to do a little episode about that. I think you guys will find that interesting too. So right now, I'm going to bring on Jimmy and Marie Cirelli, and here we go. Hey, Jimmy and Marie, how
Hey
you
guys.
doing?
Oh,
How you guys doing tonight?
good.
Good, and you?
How you doing, Chris?
Good.
Thanks for bringing us back.
Oh, absolutely. I love having you guys on. Um, do you guys have a microphone by any chance?
No, just what's on the computer. We're gonna be getting. He needs to get a webcam because I'm heading back to Florida in early September, and we're gonna be doing it three-way. So I got to get him a webcam and a microphone.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm not too loud for you guys. I might be
No, yeah,
louder
you should be
than.
fine.
Okay. All right. So I figured we'd start out this way. Last week you told us about your aunt and uncle, obviously, and the Ravenite, and how your aunt's apartment was bugged. Which is obviously the bug that led to John Gotti's downfall. It was in your aunt and uncle's apartment that John Gotti was caught on wiretap or on a bug talking about Sammy and some murders that were committed and stuff like that. It's a really fascinating story, and you told us something new that we didn't know. Now, I'm sure most of my viewers saw that, but in case some of them didn't, if you want to start with that story again, that would be great.
Sure. My sister pulled up today on one of the sites the actual article of Daily News, and I don't know where they got their information from. Because first it said that she went voluntarily down to Florida and California. So that, I mean, like I said last week, when my grandmother passed away and we were in the limousine going to the cemetery, she told my wife and I how they acted. They were Con Ed workers, knocked on the door and said there was a gas leak that they needed a week to get it taken care of. And they offered her a trip to Vegas, and it was around Thanksgiving.
Well, you made a good point about that. We were talking about that today when we were out, and you made a good point about that. That if they would have admitted the FBI to breaking into her apartment the way that they did, that evidence would have been thrown out because that's illegal search and seizure. They had to come up with some story that she agreed to let us in. They probably knew the woman. I mean, they knew she was old. They probably figured she's probably losing her mind at this age. We can say whatever we want. And she's not going to do anything. I think he hit it right on the head where they came up with this story that she went away and she willingly let people in the apartment. I don't see that happening. You couldn't get in that building if you were the Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to get buzzed in. I mean, we had a friend that lived there also, and we had another friend that lived across the street. So, if they would have seen somebody that didn't know,
In the middle of the night, breaking in with flashlights, somebody would have called the cops.
yeah,
There's
Oh,
no doubt
absolutely.
about it.
Yeah, especially how well that building was watched.
yeah,
I mean, there's by people in the neighborhood and stuff. Everybody had their eye on the Ravenite, and so but it's funny because it's contradictory to everything we ever heard up until last week when you guys told us this. I know I was, and I think most people were under the impression that she decided to take a trip to Florida for Thanksgiving because that's what the media told us. They told us that
Yeah.
that's what happened, and that they just snuck in and planted the bug. But now we know that they actually tricked her into leaving.
They
yeah.
had to because they had to get her permission to go in there and supposedly fix the gas leak. I mean, that's the only way that they could have legally done it. We had her permission. She let us in the apartment. She said we could. We used the ruse, like we always done. Her gas was leaking. Her cable was down. Whatever it was, they had to get her permission to do that.
Especially with the attorneys that Gotti Senior had, they would have ate that up,
Yeah,
and they would have said this was an illegal search. They broke into the woman's apartment. They put illegal wiretaps without getting anybody's permission.
They didn't get a court order, nothing.
Court order, nothing. So I mean, they did technically get her okay, but she didn't know who they were. So that makes sense. And
Yeah.
then they went. I don't know how further along months later when they went back up there and said who they were and said exactly what happened. But
Do you think that it was in the court records? Do you think? See, I don't know about the court records for sure, but do you think that they told the truth as far as a warrant, or as far as how they really got in there, or do you think that that's why we've been hearing this bullshit story is because that's what they used as a a reason for how they were able to get in?
They used it as a bullshit story for sure because she wouldn't let nobody in that apartment. I'm sorry. And then even in the article it says she left the door unlocked. Come on, that does not sound like anybody we know. No way. And then especially she was already concerned about being robbed to begin with. She lived alone. She was an elderly woman. She's not going to go out to Florida and leave her door unlocked so the FBI can come in and play bugs at 1:00 in the morning.
And she would have went over to either my father or one of my father's brothers or my father's sister and said, look, somebody was up here yesterday because one of my neighbors heard footsteps at whatever time and heard them trying to get in. So she would have went to somebody in my father's family because at that time her husband was gone.
Yeah.
So she would have called somebody.
Yeah, it's just mind blowing to me that they're able to put a recording device in somebody's house who is a legitimate person, just a citizen. And I understand that they had proof that Gotti was having his meetings in there, but this is still your aunt's residence, and it's amazing to me that they could get away with that. It's really a shame.
And plus, from what I understand, the Ravenite had a Doberman Pinscher that our friend who lived in the building, he would run up down the stairs, and he even attacked a friend one night. I think his name was Duke.
Yeah.
It's that, and I'm unless they knocked the dog out. So that I know they
sent the dog to Florida.
Yeah. they were let in. They said what they said, and
they were let in. Yeah, they were let in. They had her so-called permission because she thought she had a gas leak, and that's why she let them in there because she believed that she had a gas leak. She wouldn't know any better. She wouldn't know, even if you told her, "Oh, you can't smell it," but we pulled the meter and we seen it on the meter that you got a gas leak. She would have believed it. She would have believed that over. Oh, we want to send you to Florida and break into your apartment at 1:00 in the morning and plant bugs in your house. Come on. That's just so far-fetched. It's not funny.
Somebody would have said something, like I said, either the neighbors would have said something to somebody in my father's family, or she would have called either my father, his brother Angelo, his brother Bobby, or his aunt's sister, or his my father's sister. That's who they would have called.
Yeah, it just goes to show the government will stop at nothing. When they have a target in mind and they want to get that target, they will lie and deceive and do whatever they have to do. And this is just more proof of that.
Well, they were angry because they bugged the Ravenite and they couldn't get any good audio out of it. So they were angry. They had what 6 months or so of audio tapes that were trash. They couldn't use them.
Yeah.
Well, they were
Well,
not happy people.
well, I'm sure. Um, I have some pictures of now. Unfortunately, these are blurry. We won't be able to read the actual articles, but I have some pictures of some newspaper headlines from that time, that are about them bugging your aunt's apartment. And if you want to tell us what you read in any of these, it's up to you, but I'll go through them real quick. Um, Here's one.
That's the apartment.
That's the apartment.
She kept it neat. It was clean as
She would have found, yeah.
She would have known something was moved or something wasn't right.
Yeah.
Because they would have done something that they probably didn't realize when they left. Maybe
a fingerprint in the dust.
Something
she would have noticed.
She would have noticed it. She would have noticed it.
That's crazy. As you can see, it says the Don's downfall, and it says how feds bugged widow's apartment to get goods on Gotti. So that's one. And then we have this one, how feds got Gotti. That also looks like, is that, the bottom picture is obviously the Ravenite.
Yes, the middle picture is the apartment.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another one. And here we have FBI plants bug that stung Don.
And the left corner, the left column, the second article with the black bold print, that goes on to explain how our Uncle Mikey, back in 1979, the FBI tried bugging the Ravenites, and he caught them, and he chased them out with a baseball bat. And Gotti found out the next day and said to our Uncle Mikey, "Good job, Cirelli. You next time they break into the fucking place, shoot them and tell people that they were burglars."
Yeah, I mean, you would be in the right.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And I think that made one of the local news stations here. I think it made Channel 5 back then when he did that.
Really?
They spoke about it.
I would love to have the clip from the news. That would be great. So, okay, I'm also going to show a couple of pictures from that neighborhood. I was just there recently, but, for people who haven't been, this is Mulberry Street. That's where the Ravenite was. I believe it was 247 Mulberry, right?
Yeah, 247, yeah.
This is a picture of Little Italy at night. That's what it's like.
That's during the Feast of San Gennaro.
Yes. Yeah, I went there many times as a kid, and I always enjoyed going to the feast. So do you want to get started talking about your father? Or do you want me to just pull these pictures up?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, here is a picture of your father. He is on the left.
He's the one on the left with with one shoe on.
Yeah.
He's the one with the glasses. The gentleman sitting next to him is that's Pickles.
Pickles, huh?
Oh, yeah,
we don't know his real name, but that they were their childhood friends. I just noticed that he's got one.
He's got one shoe on.
It looks like he's missing a foot.
Each of them only have one shoe on.
I just noticed it.
Yeah, they both only have one shoe on. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's hot, I guess. It's summertime. They take their shoes off.
It could be a childhood thing also. I mean, they grew up with each other.
Yeah, but this is them sitting in front of the Ravenite.
That's in front of the Ravenites, yeah. That's got to be in the 90s. That's after John Gotti went away. Because my father's older in that picture.
Yeah.
Probably in his middle 70s, I'd say.
This one I should have actually put on a few minutes ago, but this is another picture of the Ravenite.
Yeah. Now, if you look closely at this picture, you can see where John Gotti boarded up with brick the windows. There used to be 2 glass windows there, and in the bottom right where this window is, it used to just say for members only.
Yeah, members only. That's when it was. It was green outside.
It was green.
It had the awning and had the bench in front.
Oh, okay.
He took the bench out and he bricked up the windows, but you can see it if you look close. at that picture
Yeah.
where there used to be windows.
They gave him a problem getting a permit to have the Ravenite redone.
Oh, really? Well, I'm sure
Yeah,
gave him a
they
problem.
blocked it, this and that, and I know from my father was telling me, he threw out all the sports pictures that was in there, Babe Ruth, Will Gehrig, all the boxing pictures that we spoke about last week. He put them all out in front for trash, and people were just coming and getting them.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe I ever saw it with the green awning. I can't remember if I ever saw pictures of it like that or not. I'm not sure. But here's another one with your dad in it.
That's him
Yeah.
with the glasses.
And
He's
who-
looking right at the camera.
And
Yep,
who's in
to the left.
front? I believe that's Joe Butch Correa, a former captain in the Gambino family.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was trying
That's
to
what it
see.
looks like from the back.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could kind of identify anyone in this picture, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, but that's the Ravenites.
Now I
No.
believe that man in the right, in the middle, I believe that's Tommy Gambino.
Oh, okay. Let me put it back up. The one looking almost right at the camera.
Yeah, he's got like the hair parted to the side, kind of balding.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that looks like Tommy Gambino. The other
Oh.
two gentlemen, I don't know who they are.
Oh, okay.
But that's
Yeah,
our
that's-
father.
Yeah, that's another picture I never saw. I don't know how you found those, but
Chris, I was driving home today, and she texted me, and I'm like,
I'm like a dog with a bone.
I
Forget
said,
it.
where did you find that picture? Because the last time I seen him was in our father's apartment on his dresser.
Maybe I should work for the FBI.
She's like, I got it
Right.
off this website. I'm like, then my wife was saying, yeah, when we one of the last times we were up his apartment, he had that on the dresser along with our son's christening pictures. And I'm like, I haven't seen that picture. Wow, since
He died in 2011, so
2009, 2010.
wow.
long time. And
Was
he was
there-
not one for pictures. He didn't like the camera. Then I don't think any of those guys did.
Yeah,
He
no.
didn't like the camera. Don't take no pictures.
Yeah, well, yeah, they had good reason not to want their picture.
Family pictures with the kids on a Sunday, yeah. But not walking in and out of buildings and sitting in front of a club. No.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys had some stories prepared you wanted to tell, so I figured I would just
What do you mean?
I would let you say what you want to say.
Yeah, Jimmy Calandre's podcast last week, he was talking about a gentleman named Beansy Campanella.
Yeah.
When I seen it, I thought it was the same gentleman who helped me get my wife's engagement ring. My godfather, Sonny, had the jewelry exchange on the Bowery in Canal Street. So when I got engaged in 95. Right before that, I spoke to my father. And I says, "Does Sonny, is he still down there?" He goes, "Yeah." He says, "Meet me and we'll go." We
I'm
went.
gonna put this light up right up.
And he wasn't allowed in the neighborhood anymore because he was a bookmaker. He owed out money, but his partner was there. I walk in there and I see
Is
a
that
giant picture of Frank Sinatra
Yes.
with this guy Beansy, and he kind of says, "Wait a minute, weren't you in Raging Bull?" And he's like, "Yes," and this and that. And this is way before Bronx Tale.
Yeah.
And my father's like, just don't worry about that. He says, "Tell him what you want," And I'm sitting there and I says, "This guy was in a film with De Niro." Yeah, I was starstruck. And he asked me what I wanted. I told him. He goes, "All right." He said, "I'll speak to your godfather." He's come back a week later.
Yeah.
Back next Friday. And he gave it to me for half of what it was. Because I was his, my godfather, I was his godson. And then years later, I seen him in Bronx Tale when he's holding Claudio's hand and he brings him into the bar. And I'm telling my wife, I says, "That's the guy who helped me get your ring. So you owe this man." She says, "Yeah."
Yeah, that's an awesome story.
And it was, it was right off the Bowery and Canal. It was a little booth, and he was there for, it was T.R. Perone was the name of the booth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but, it's like Borello was saying the other day, when you're 12, 11, 10, 14, you don't realize who these people are that are around you. They're just uncle this or uncle that, and you don't realize that they're wise guys and, they're people that are in the news. I mean, I heard John Gotti talk about it the other day that, he's having a problem with his daughter. his daughter can't get a boyfriend because everybody hears the name and
Yeah.
nobody wants to date her. They're all afraid. And he's like, "What do you want me to do?" You know, he says they sell newspapers every 6 months. They have to run an article so they can boost their sales. And you know, you don't realize that these people. So maybe if I put on a pink bunny suit,
outfit.
bunny
Yeah,
outfit,
big bunny
come
outfit.
around, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, she's very mad at him because she can't get a boyfriend.
Well, yeah. I mean, with a last name like that, yeah, I guess you can't blame the teenage boys and stuff for not being or for being a little leery, maybe of getting involved. But yeah, I
Absolutely.
like that interview he did. I like that. That's a good
Yeah.
interview.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good
And
guy.
but like you were saying a minute ago, that's what I was talking to Patrick Borriello about. Is and I know I asked you guys about this too because you guys grew up basically in that neighborhood, at least a small part of your childhood, and you saw Gotti Senior, I believe, right? And
We used to see him
Sammy
walk.
Gr-
We used to see him walking around.
Used to see him walking. They used to go for
Walking
walking
talks.
talks.
yeah, and I know you saw Sammy Gravano and the Ravenite, and
Mhm.
at the time you didn't realize the significance of who you were looking at.
Didn't find out till later on, Chris. After I was married and I started watching A&E and all these, especially the one with Diane Sawyer
Yeah,
that he did. You
96.
know, but I knew, but I didn't know to the extent.
We were always told there's no such thing as the mafia. There's no
No.
it doesn't exist. There's no such thing.
Mind your business.
Mind
Keep
your
your mouth
business.
shut. Don't
Don't-
ask questions.
Yeah. And we didn't. We didn't. I mean, what do? You look. I mean, when your father's going like this at you, well, I don't know, what do you do?
The famous tongue.
He
rolling of the
would roll
tongue.
his tongue and he would be
Mm.
like, oh, forget it.
Yeah.
They aren't legitimate people here. Her husband was a known member. Some of these comments.
Who? My husband?
They think, well, I guess they think we're husband and wife.
No, we're
What
not
did they
husband and
say?
wife. We're brother and sister. Please don't push it.
What are people getting rude in here? Because let's see what some people have to say real quick. Oh, that one's about the John Gotti Jr. thing. Okay, yeah. Does anybody have any questions or anything? And then we'll continue a little bit because you guys have some more stories you want to tell, I believe, right?
I have a De Niro story. Our friend owned and his father owned a restaurant back in the 80s called Leonardo's on Mulberry Street, and we used to go in there a lot, my father and I, and before she moved. And I was in there one day. There was a beautiful black woman sitting in the back.
Yeah.
A guy comes in with a handkerchief over his face, just up to his eyes, and he walks in. He goes, "I says, Dad, who's that?" He goes, "That's Robert De Niro." I said, "Get out of here." He says, "Jimmy, that's Robert De Niro." He says, "Don't bother him."
But
It's
they
that.
didn't call him Robert De Niro. They called him Bob.
Well, they called him, De Niro.
Yeah.
So the waiter whose father owned the place, his name was Eugene. He wanted to be an actor. He comes over to my father. He goes, "Junior." He says, "Do you know him?" He goes, "Yeah." He says, "He grew up on Elizabeth Street." He goes, "Why? You want to meet him?" He says, "Yeah." He goes, "Don't go over to him now. He just, take his order." He goes, He's very nasty." He said, "He doesn't like people bothering him." He said that. He goes, when I get a chance, I'll go over and talk to him." And I'm like, "You know him?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You never mentioned this to me." He said, "What do you want me to start?" Yeah, I know Robert De Niro. And I'm like, "So who's the black woman?" He goes, "That's his wife."
Yeah.
It's his dad. She's beautiful. He goes, he likes black girls, black
Yeah.
women,
Yeah.
and that. And he's like, they didn't let nobody else back there. It was just him and his wife, and then we left before he left. But it
De
was
Niro likes eggplant big time.
it was kind of weird how just he's walking with a with a handkerchief up to his eyes. Because I didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
My father paid no mind to it.
Yeah, De Niro would be like, to me, that's like a mythical figure. To see De Niro, I don't know. I think that's the one time in my life I might really be starstruck, like without a doubt. Cuban B wants to know. He's asking about Della Croce, Neil Della Croce.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if she met him. I never met him, but my father's side of the family were paisans with them.
Yeah.
I know they used to eat on Sundays, and he was godfather to our aunt.
Hmm.
And the daughter, I've stayed in contact with. I haven't spoken to her in about a year and a half, 2 years, but we've had Easter with her over our cousin's house in Jersey, Christmas, Thanksgiving. She calls my son her nephew. Very, very nice. She's around my age, 55, 56. Very pretty. Very pretty. And, just the history of the Delacotes and Cirellis goes back, I guess.
100 years, 75 years.
Yeah.
And Miss Can't Be Wrong is right. He had the bluest eyes. I know the FBI had quoted as saying that his eyes were so blue that you could see right through him. I mean, he had those eyes, the eyes of a killer.
Yeah.
You know, they were just so blue that when you looked at him, you knew that you were in trouble. If you were looking in his eyes, that was the last thing you were looking at.
Yeah, this person knows. What about Norman DuPont? Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that's another
That's
thing I
the
wanted to ask
nephew,
you.
Yeah, it was the nephew. That was our aunt's nephew.
Aunt Nettie's nephew.
Annie's nephew.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about. I know I went over this last week, but a lot of people asked me to have you guys elaborate or whatever. Your father was the caretaker of the Ravenite.
Yeah, after Gotti went away, he sent word from prison, from what I understand. He wanted to keep it open, and my father kept it open, but it was a shell. There were holes in the walls where they had the electronic devices, and just neighborhood kids would go in and out of there. But my father kept it open for a couple hours, and then in fact, right after my wife and I got engaged, my wife went in there, and she's like, "I don't believe I'm in here." I said, "Look, this is not back in the day." I'm like, she's like, "What's all the holes about?" I'm like, "You want to find out? Go ask my father."
Yeah.
And my father told her.
And I want to ask you about Norman too, but before him, it was your great uncle, Mikey, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was the caretaker then.
Yes.
I know you guys kind of, already explained how the transition between your Uncle Mikey and Norman took place, but a lot of people are very interested in Norman. What do you know about Norman that we?
Norman was more visible.
Yeah,
Mikey.
Norman was always around. I mean, he drove somebody around. I don't know who it was. Very good looking man. He was always wearing sweatsuits.
Uh-huh.
And every time that I seen him, he was always carrying food inside the place.
Yeah, we've seen videos of that.
Yeah, and every once in a while when we were playing wiffle ball or Johnny and the Pony on Mulberry Street, he would come by and he would say a few things. He would laugh, and then we waved him, and then he would go inside the club.
And then he eventually went away for murder, right?
Yeah. Then, I understand that he got a really high-paying job in the Department of Sanitation.
Mm-hmm.
And then he committed murder, and he's been away. He's been away over 4 years now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw
I
a
can't
prison
believe it.
picture. I saw a prison picture recently.
Yeah.
With him in it. He still pretty much looks the same.
Really?
Yeah. I actually should have.
Pennsylvania?
No, I'm not sure where he was. Let me check it out. I'll tell you in just 1 second. I want to say either Lewisburg or maybe Raybrook.
Right, to pay respect to Jonah Lee.
You'll read that one, Chris. Mikey Figs.
Mikey Figs.
Oh, Mikey Figs is
Did
funny.
we ever witness mob guys showing up to pay respect to John Elite? Yeah, when he was 12. He was driving vets.
Yeah, I'm going to let you guys go on John Elite for a minute just because everybody loves it.
Oh, my God.
You can tell us again if you'd like. My audience can't get enough of people's opinions on John A. Light, so if you would like to give yours again, we'd be happy to hear it.
I watched. She never seen Fear City, so we watched it after we had the podcast last week.
Yeah,
and she's like, he was talking about back in the 70s. He had to be what, 15, 16 years old?
He's a year older than me. He could. If he was born in 62, in 1970, he was 8. He was 8 years old.
And here he's calling himself that he had vets Johnny.
Johnny Vets.
He bought all his guys vets. What guys?
They were like girls in a shopping mall. I don't remember having malls when we were 8 years old anyway.
Only mall I knew it was out in
Yeah,
Massachusetts.
right.
Did we ever bump into Elite? No, Elite. No. I know.
Never seen him, never heard of him until these podcasts started.
He's the original natural born killer. When he came out of his mother, he had a knife in his hand. I mean, that's the way he makes it sound. Elite was a killer by 8 years old.
I'm like, he was on 24/7 call to John Gotti Sr. Where is he getting this from?
Oh, I don't know. I can't find which prison this was, Norman.
But
that Norman's in, but anyway, yeah. Marie, you've said you know you guys are the same age, and you never heard of John A-Light until he
never heard of him. He would have been hanging out with us as neighborhood kids. We used to hang out between Prince and Spring at a candy store called Lucy's. Every neighborhood kid from Kenmare Street down to Prince used to hang out at Lucy's. So if he was in that neighborhood, he was hanging out with us.
Somebody would have known him.
Somebody would have known him. And we had 12, 13 kids we were hanging out with. Nobody knew who he was. No. I didn't know anybody
playing the
named John.
bongos and sexual.
That interview that he did today, the guy said to him, well, you were around Gotti Sr. Constantly, right? 24 hours a day. He said, yeah, I was one of his enforcers.
His enforcer.
Yeah.
He's getting it. I mean, like I said last week, Chris, they didn't let any neighborhood kids in there unless it was the holidays, and that wasn't that many. And he was, he was nobody. I mean, that video, like you told me last week, I think he was in there for 10, 15 minutes to drop something off.
Yeah.
And then he walked out.
Yeah, and it's been explained what he was dropping off and everything. I mean, it's a pretty simple story, but, there's a certain segment of people that are going to believe him.
He can't get his straight. And again, when I watched the 5-minute podcast with John Gotti Jr. talking about the 302s and all these lies that were in this paperwork, I mean, he says he's a trash. He's a piece of trash. He's making up stories. The truth got lost in the mix. Come on. The truth never gets lost in the mix. The truth is the truth. You speak the truth, you know the truth. Nothing gets lost in the mix. Lies get lost in the mix because you can't remember what you say.
I'd like to know where we got the $35 million from.
I didn't even know he had $35 million. If I would have known that, I would have slept with him.
Yeah.
I love you, Marie. Yeah, no, he didn't, I'm sure.
I mean, he said he had what? He had parking garages.
He had parking garages. He had discos. I was 14. We went to the Fun House, which was a no-no. You didn't do that.
26th and 11th.
And I was 14 years old. We snuck into the back door because Eugene's sister Patricia had backstage passes. She was dating an Elvis impersonator named Ricky Saucedo. And she got backstage passes, and we snuck in. We had to sneak in at 14 years old, and we didn't look 14, let me tell you. We looked a lot older.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, there's no way that he did half of the things he did. There's no way. There's no way. He wasn't driving Vets. He wasn't driving Lincolns. He wasn't anybody's enforcer. He was a peon.
Norman, he said he's incarcerated in Gilmer Federal Prison in Glenville, West Virginia.
Okay, Glenville, West Virginia. Thank you.
Yeah, he probably checked the federal inmate locator. Yeah, I just checked the picture. I should have done that. Here's a good question. Danny F. wants to know, what about Neil's son, Buddy? Did you know
Buddy
Neil
died in a hotel in Pennsylvania back in the early 90s.
Who killed him? Robert Clinton.
He's talking about Buddy.
Oh.
My friend Georgie was good friends with him. Yeah, I seen him a lot. He opened up a video game store, a couple of storefronts away from the Ravenite. This and that. He was a big, heavy-set guy. Hair was always groomed well. Dark glasses, this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is funny. I got to pull this up. Jason T. A-Light was pushing his own stroller in the 70s.
A-Light got drafted by the LA Dodgers, but
Yeah.
Hey,
No,
like, did I
the,
baseball bat Frankenstein? Yes, I did.
Louis and Jimmy, they got you married to him.
yeah, I was married to him. I was married to him when I was 12. That's when he made his $35 million. And then
When he
we
was
went to
12.
Corvettes at the mall.
Yeah, Danny F is right. Buddy died while he was on the land because he was on Wanted, and then I think he died a week later or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I actually didn't know about Buddy. I never really read about him or anything.
he hung out with our uncle Bobby, just not a lot.
Yeah, he was crazy.
My father's youngest brother.
Okay.
And he was a nutcase, Bobby. Robert Cirelli. He was a nutcase. I should look
Really?
him up. See what kind of information I can find on him.
Yeah, I'm gonna look him up now. I want to see.
Is he drunk and laying on the bench?
Yeah.
Jesus. John G wants to know. Now, you might not know this guy because this was a Woodhaven guy, I believe. But he wants to know if you know anything about Georgie Grosso. This was the only person A-Light killed, even though he claims to have a huge body count.
George Grasso?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Okay. I
Somebody
figured.
supposedly killed.
That's somebody he supposedly killed?
Yeah, that's the one person that we can confirm that he did actually.
Oh, it's confirmed? I keep hearing about this Johnny Gebert. Is that his name?
Yeah.
So that never happened.
No, Johnny Gebert was he was a street guy and very connected. He was friends with John Jr. He was a drug dealer. He did get killed, but it was ordered by, we're not sure really. He keeps changing his story. First, A-Light said he ordered it. Then the other day on the interview he did, he said that Gotti Sr. ordered it. But A-Light likes to take credit for the killing of Johnny Gebert. He was killed in 1996 in Woodhaven, but I don't think John A-Light had anything to do with it. Mikey Fig says, "Can I come and hang out with these two? They're good people."
Is there any piece of Little Italy that is the same as it was 40 years ago?
Yeah, actually, when you mentioned the Ravenite that you went with your wife, and
floor.
You went in there, you looked at the floor. She was trying to, I guess, rush you out of there.
No, it's all restaurants. It's a tourist attraction. You've seen it. It's restaurants and outside eating venues and
totally.
We're going back up there on the 29th.
Yeah.
Is it 29th or 27th?
27th.
27th.
Yeah, we're gonna go back up soon too. But yeah, I went in there looking because they kept the original floor in there.
Yeah, I heard on the podcast, and I'm like, when we went there a couple of weeks ago, like I said, now they got it all papered off, and they're making a museum out of it.
They're gonna put John Elite's statue out front.
Yeah.
They're gonna put a little sign that says "The Mayor of Little Italy."
Yeah, come inside for free bats.
Yeah, free bats.
It's gonna be 24 karat gold.
They'll autograph them too for free.
Yeah, it'll be 24 karat gold statue encrusted with diamonds, and it'll be holding a baseball.
And his nuts hanging out, just like the picture of what's his name there. Well, with the Caesar they put the fiddle over in front of him.
Oh, Moses with the stick.
JC and M. Cali, thank you for the super chat. He said, "I left owing $35K and I left my parking meters." Because I don't know if you've heard the beginning of A-Light's show, right? Where he says, "I left my $35 million parking company," and whatever the fuck he says in the beginning.
Yeah, well, we keep talking. They'll come find his ass.
Yeah.
They'll come find him, Frankie Calabria. Hi, Frankie Calabria.
Oh, yeah, Frankie's a good guy. Let me get down towards the bottom here. The comments are coming quick.
Donnie Brasco, where I come from in Florida, Donnie Brasco had a lot of, he tried infiltrating the mob in Tarpon Springs over there where the Greek sponge docks is. The Bananos over there.
Yeah.
That's Donnie Brasco's territory, yeah.
It's funny. I seen him on a podcast a couple months ago, and he went down to our neighborhood, Joe Pistone, is that his name?
Yeah.
And somebody opened up the window and called him a rat. And he turned around and he started laughing. He goes, "I guess people don't forget." And I'm like, look, whoever's still living down there knows what happened. He said the guy was pretty up there in age. So I was cracking up when I heard it.
That's funny.
Smoking Tommy wants to know who we're related to. We're related to John Elite.
The Corella, you got to
It's Cirelli with an I.
You can't be related to him because you're Italian.
No.
Angel says A-Light and Gebert both gave up their guys in Forest Park. They were all baseball bad. Oh, interesting, Angel. I didn't know that.
Send our regards.
Yeah, send her our regards.
Yes, I'm sure she heard. I could see you guys having a hell of a conversation sometime, you and Angel.
Oh, yeah. Again, we were kids. We didn't know, these were family members. We didn't, we weren't starstruck by them. We didn't know who they were. They weren't like they are today. Now the mob has an aura around it of being,
That's you're not trying. Like it's on his way to Mars.
He's on his way to Mars to baseball bat, a few aliens ago, and some moonbeam chips.
Oh my God!
Oh shit! Let me get Ash right out of that. Baseball bat, a few aliens that I have some. That's great. Yeah, Angel says hello. Let me see.
Did you guys ever hear of? From what I understand, Johnny Russo was born in the neighborhood, and I never heard of him. I mean, I've seen The Godfather, but I've never heard of him.
Did you hear some of his stories?
One of the Ravenites and said, "Oh, who are you? And how many people have you killed today? And who are you? And how many people do you plan to kill tomorrow?" It was like our father would grab us and say, "This is my daughter. This is Mr. Russo," and we would call him Mr. Russo or whatever their names were. We never, it was never this is Pickles and that's Fat Leo, and we didn't know them that way. We didn't know John Gotti as this is the Godfather. This was Mr. Gotti. This was Mr. Gravano. You respect these people. If I find out that you disrespect these people, you're gonna have to answer to me. And we'd be like, oh, okay. We didn't walk sideways down that street.
Yeah, people think it's like The Sopranos, like you all sit around at dinner and talk about.
Yeah, like we're throwing quarters at them as they're walking by.
We had to be very quiet when we walked in front of it.
Very respectful. Kids would be seen and not heard.
We always met my father on the outside. He'd say, meet me at Uncle Mikey's later, and we'll go get something to eat. I said, fine.
And me being a girl,
like I said, I never knew that it was called the Ravenite until years later.
Yeah, I had no idea.
We always thought of it as Uncle Mikey's.
It was Uncle Mikey's. We used to go in there for an egg cream on the Sundays. We would go to my grandmother's house and spend a half hour there, and whatever the men would go talk about, and we had no clue. I mean, even if they talked in front of us, we still had no clue what they were talking about. We didn't know. We just didn't know.
I'd get $5, $10, and I'd go home with like $35, $40 in my pocket. I was 7, 8 years old. I feel like a millionaire.
We were the big shots in the Long Island, in the Long Island public school system. We were like, we were the mafia guys, and we had the $35. You want lunch today? We're gonna pay.
I was taking bets for A-Light out in Long Island.
We were running numbers in Long Island.
Yeah, you were working for A-Light, huh?
We didn't know. We had no idea. We were happy. I mean, there was one time I'll never forget. My father was working for the Teamsters. He was working obviously through the mob. We didn't know that at the time, but he was working for Local 707, the Teamsters Union. And he comes home one day. I don't know if you were there or not, but I was there. He emptied the back of his truck into our house. We had every toy imaginable, from bicycles to motorcycles to board games.
He used to deliver toys. Yeah.
You name it, we had everything. And my father started loading it into the garage. We thought it was Christmas. We had no idea that it was a heist. How are we supposed to know? We would go in that garage for months. Brand new bikes, brand new toys. I had some of the games we had was Monopoly, Life, the one with the boyfriend and the girlfriend. The one, who's your favorite boyfriend? I don't forget.
And when the Star Trek communicators first came
Star Trek communicators, we had the little flipping things.
And the evil.
We were considered the lucky kids because our father drove a truck and they were giving him toys for us. That's what we thought. We didn't know he was hijacking trucks.
Hijack.
Well, you know what I mean.
Whatever was left over, he kept.
Right. Whatever fell off the back of the truck, he kept.
Oh, of course, yeah. That's great, though. Some memories you guys must have. I mean, I know now, looking back on it, you probably have your questions or concerns about who these people were and what they might have done. But I mean, it had to have made for an
Yeah, maybe
interesting
we should send
childhood.
John Elite and what's his name, John Elite and somebody else.
Thank you,
Well,
Paul.
off ISIS and the Taliban. Yeah, there you go. Maybe you should go take a couple of
Did you
baseball
guys
guys over
ever
there.
see Jimmy Burke or Joe Watts? Not that I remember. No.
Let me
I don't even
see.
think they let Jimmy Burke in the Ravenite because he was Irish, and I know Gotti didn't like him from what I understand.
Oh, really?
That's what I seen on the documentary. He didn't particularly like him.
Yeah.
Did they know? Did you know Neil Delacroce's son Armand?
We knew him as his buddy. We didn't know. I didn't know his real name was Armand until later on.
Yeah, that makes sense then because I've read about Armand.
Jimmy's Pizza. You ask him, he'll eat pizza 7 days a week.
Oh yeah.
He's strictly pizza.
Yeah, oh, me too. Trust me, that makes two of us. Because
Me, I'm more pasta. I like my pasta bazool and broccoli espadached.
yeah, we were talking about Italian food the other night.
Our
Sunday's
father's
always pasta.
our father's girlfriend's son owns Danico's down on Mulberry Street, and that's where we ate a couple weeks ago. And we had pasta bazool. It was tremendous.
Yeah,
Tremendous.
it was like eating at mom's.
Yeah, I bet.
Pasta di fagioli.
Are you guys related to Alessandra B? Why does
I
that
don't-
name sound familiar?
Where are you reading that?
It just went up there.
What does that say? John Elite batted Gene Gotti?
Where does it say
You
that?
guys know Norman. Yeah, Norman was
Norman was Nettie's
Nettie's nephew. Yeah.
Talking about it before. Norman.
Mhm.
John Elite batted team. Jesus.
Pasta alla Lita, yeah.
Now, this I love Jimmy Dean. Nicky Caruso, I knew Jojo Caruso. I met when I was 13. He was the former underboss later on. His girlfriend used to be the maitre d' for the Prince George on 28th Street. And my father, we went to dinner, and he says, "This is my friend Jojo." And I found out later on that he was Gotti's driver.
No, I thought Elite was his
No,
driver.
Jojo Caruso was Gotti's driver.
I love
then
your
He
sarcasm.
became the underboss later on.
Now I know Uncle Mikey used to drive for Delacroce. That I know
You know?
because I remember him getting out of a Cadillac, an old Cadillac.
You know more than me.
But I didn't know who they were. I was just Uncle Mikey was driving this guy around with blue eyes.
But Nicky Caruso, I just know that he's JoJo's brother, and I think he was the boss in the early 2000s till he went
Did
away.
we ever meet John Jr.? No, unfortunately, we never met John Jr.
Never had the pleasure.
Never had the pleasure. I'm sure one of these days we will meet, though. I'll make him some pasta bazool.
John Aletto is the new boss of the Aletto.
Listen, you can't
That's
go wrong.
his-
You can't go wrong making fun of John A. Light. Not on my channel. They love it.
No.
And
And
I
it's a
do
shame,
too.
because we're all supposed to try to get along somehow. I mean, we all have similar memories of different things when we were kids, and to lie and make up stories about putting people away and just lying about people, it's horrible.
Do we know Patrick Boreal? No, but the podcast you had the other day was right on.
Yeah,
And you could see he's a good-looking man, and he's a very fine actor, from what I understand.
Yeah, he really is. He's good at what he does, and what a hell of a guy, man.
Elite is
Yeah.
debuting his book in Sicily. Yeah, you can dip it in olive oil.
Elite played on a ball team. One of the Luciano kids coached, and think that he's considered working for Fat Andy.
I don't know who Fat Andy.
Anybody
I know
watched
Fat
the last
Georgie, but
episode
not
of
Fat
Talking Sopranos?
Fat Andy Ruggiano.
Wow.
That's what he claims to basically have been raised by. That's
Yes, it was
before
a
Gotti
great
took him,
absolutely.
before Gotti Senior took him under his wing, and then he basically was raised by Gotti Senior. This is what A-Light says.
was kind to let John Sr. be his driver.
Elite was the real owner of the Yankees.
Michael Smith.
But he owns
thanks for
Tampa
the
Bay
super chat.
Rays.
Maybe he sold it to Derek Jeter. I don't know.
I don't know.
Michael Smith says Gotti drove a Leto around.
You know what other podcast was good? The one that you did with Damien. That one was good too.
Yeah, I seen that.
We were in the car.
Saturday.
Friday.
Was it Friday or
It was
Saturday?
Friday. It was Friday.
Damien's podcast was Saturday or Friday or Saturday?
We did that one Friday.
It
Friday.
was Friday.
Yeah, Damien's a great guy too, and they're
Yeah, that was a
friends.
great
Him and
podcast.
Patrick.
Yes.
Yeah, Damien's a good guy. I look forward to having him on again too. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to be doing that within the next couple of weeks or so. Let's see. All right, some of these I'm not going to read.
Black Luciano.
I
Blackie Luciano.
have no idea who he's talking about.
Angel says A-Light couldn't see over the steering wheel.
I have trouble
Yeah,
too.
he sat on phone bugs. Of course he could see. That blocked on the pedals.
I have an autographed ice pick from the Hill of Goodfellows. I'll
He'll be putting it up.
Which one? What is it?
Um,
Oh, I thought you wanted me to put something up.
Hitting the discos at 12 years old.
This one is sort of unrelated, but I know what this guy is talking about. Do you guys know who Tekashi 69 is? This
No.
rapper kid with the rainbow hair.
rainbow hair.
Yeah, he's a rapper guy. I don't know if you ever saw him, but he became a rat. He told on all his friends. But he did an interview the other day where he was talking about how basically John Gotti wasn't the gangster. Sammy the Bull was the real gangster because Johnny didn't kill anybody, but Sammy the Bull killed, X amount of people. It was just a ridiculous thing. This guy wanted me to tell you about this.
Yeah, well,
You guys remember the food center?
He smoked too
and
much
Frank's
weed when he was 12.
restaurant? Do you remember the food center? The only food center I remember was Fontanelli's on Mulberry and Grand.
I used to shop on Mod Street. I used to shop at the T-Bone on Mod Street.
Let me get to some here. Let's see.
I don't know. It's just it's sad though. You reach a certain age and you say to yourself,
Did you ever see Lee? I don't even know who
did
that
you
is.
ever see Lee Colio at the
I have
Ravenite?
no idea who he
No.
is.
Lee Cole. They're Lee Cole, the other YouTuber.
Oh, Lee Cole.
Oh, okay.
I thought there was another Lee Colio or something.
No.
Yeah, we know that's taboo, so we won't even know.
No, I don't remember growing up with him. I don't ever. I would remember him just based on the way he talks. I don't think his voice changed very much over the years, and I don't remember him.
Ralphie Cuomo only will be seen on Fear City that he was a union guy and he worked for the Bananas, I believe. Something with the concrete industry.
Mhm.
They all work for concrete.
Ralphie Cuomo.
Yeah.
He was on the show Fear City.
Okay. I remember our father talking about the longshoremen. Always,
Yeah,
it was always
yeah.
something about the longshoremen.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
played a
lots to
big,
do with that.
big part in all
Controlled
those
those
movies.
docks.
And the Javits Center. There was a lot of neighborhood guys that worked in the Javits
Back to
Center.
the Javits Center, yeah.
Amber Alert says Aleto started his first sports book when he was 3 years old. Paul Mastretta said, "You guys remember the food center and Frank's restaurant?"
We known it as I knew it as Fontanelli's on Mulberry and Grand.
Yeah.
Used to make good sandwiches.
Yeah,
And I remember Ferraris with their cannolis. We used to go in there and eat cannolis like they were going out of style.
Man, that was a tourist trap.
Yeah. Stunons. That's right. They're all Stunons. Because there comes a point in your life where you got to move on.
G. Russell deserved a bra.
Deserved it, bra. Like bra. Like bro.
I mean, I heard even Mike Francis doesn't even take that guy serious. Gianna Russo.
I'm sure he doesn't. How could you? He's fucking. He's nuts. He's off his rocker. Funny.
He said he got kidnapped by who's that Colombian?
Castro.
Chapo?
No, the one who he's dead.
Castro.
Who?
Oh, that's Cuban. Are you talking about Castro?
No,
Pablo Escobar.
back in the 80s and the 90s, he was big in Colombia.
Pablo Escobar?
Yeah,
Pablo
Escobar.
He got
He
kidnapped
said
by
he got
Escobar.
kidnapped by Escobar, and Gotti Senior saved his life, and he was tortured, and then he realized
Who?
Escobar realized who he was, that he was in The Godfather. This guy Johnny Russo. Remember Carlo in The Godfather?
Yes.
That's who it is. That's
Yeah,
who Johnny Russo is.
Marie, he goes on these shows now and he tells wild stories.
Yeah.
Crazy stories. Like A-Light level stories.
Wow.
Yeah, he's
Pablo Escobar kidnapped him. Yeah, I guess he took him through the tunnels, under the underground tunnels.
yeah.
If I can remember the story straight, he got hit over the head, and he next thing you know, he was in Colombia. I don't know the whole content of it. And then he wanted him to redo the scene with
See, back in
when
the
he
day,
got killed. How Carlo and what's his name put the cord around his neck
Yeah.
when he was in the car. Supposedly Escobar wanted him to redo that scene. And that saved his life.
Oh, okay.
Best story ever. It's such
And they got the horse's head from Pablo Escobar.
No, actually, they got it from the lead. He used to have a horse farm. He made a chocolate bar out of it.
You know, the scene where they wake up with the horse's head next to them in the
Oh
bed.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, he made steak out of it.
You made steak, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the horse that won the Kentucky Derby.
No, that's right.
Yeah, that's the one.
Elite was the jockey. He was 12.
Well, I think given his size, he could still be the jockey, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Tommy Agro, thank you for the super chat. He
Especially
said,
when he wears pink. He looks lighter when he wears pink.
"Oh yeah, I
I'm
know."
5'4". Now I seen him on a full-time podcast. I mean, where the picture was, he can't be more than 5'5", 5'6".
That's what I say.
He's got
Everybody says he's about 5'6", 5'7". I think he's, more like you said, probably 5'5", maybe 5'6" tops. Tommy Agro said, FBS, we need to read and review A-Light's new book, Mafia International. Listen, if I read that book, I want some money. Because reading an A-Light book is fucking torture for me. Because it's just like, it's just a big book of lies anyway. So that video better get monetized if I review that book. Because that will be painful for me. Maybe I'll listen to the audio book when I'm like mowing the fucking lawn.
He just came out with one when we spoke last week.
July 24th.
July 20 something. He just came out with
Mafia International. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I heard this. Frank DeCicco haunts the Ravenite, or
yeah. Well, he says he was there in the 90s. Now, DeCicco died in like the late 80s, I think it was.
He died in 86. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And supposedly the Chico Elite seen DeCicco's ghost in the Ravenite. Nobody else seen him, but Elite seen him.
Yeah, because A-Light showed a video from 90, that one video where he's actually out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he says, that was
many men went in and out of that place and they never saw a ghost.
Yeah. He said that was Frank DeCicco at the Ravenite in that tape with me.
Yeah.
But didn't he realize that somebody was gonna know that he's lying when he says things like that?
He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, no matter what room he's in. So he thinks he can get away with this shit. Michael Smith says Gotti Sr. wasn't really the boss. He was just waiting for Leto to be of age to take the reins. Oh, shit.
Yes, Yankees for life. The Ravenite is going to be a museum. There's some Italian-American organization that's taking it over, and they're making it into a museum. I guess to bring money into the neighborhood. I mean, I hope that's what they do, is that it helps the people in the neighborhood that need the help, and not to line somebody's pockets. Because there are some people that still live in that neighborhood that need help.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. This comment is interesting. Lou Profaci. That last name is certainly familiar. He says, I can tell you with all honesty, no one in my family knows of John A-Light, with the exception of my cousin who thinks A-Light was a runner for a local bookie. Yeah, and if that's the Profaci, if there's relation there to,
Well, we knew a kid, too, who was running numbers for the bookies. He was 11 years old, and he'd come collect the numbers from the ladies in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Go to the local pizzeria, drop the numbers off, 4 hours later, come back with the money.
Now, this man I heard of, I just don't know his real name, Joe Beck.
Joe Beck.
I know Daddy knew, because Daddy used to mention the Joe Beck. It's got to be It's got to be that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the same.
He's
name.
old timer that was in the 30s and the 40s.
Well, I mean, this was in the 80s.
Well, they're saying the 30s and the 40s.
Could have been a son or a nephew or somebody. But I heard the name.
Lexi Johnson says A-Light doesn't care if anyone knows he's lying because for every 10 that know he's full of shit, there are 3 that will believe him. Yeah, that's a fact.
Back on Tony Solano.
Like we said last week, what he did in Queens, this and that, we don't know.
know.
It's none of our business and that. But when he started talking about what he supposedly did down in the Ravenite and who he knew and this and that, that's when we decided. I mean, look, this, you can make as much money as you want selling bats and mugs and his picture.
I seen today $300 on eBay. He wants to sell an autographed picture of himself
when he was in jail.
When he was in jail for $299.95.
Wow.
Is any of that money going back to these kids that need it?
That he's claiming
that he wants to help?
No, I thought he was selling them for $200, but I'm not surprised.
No, $299.95. He's rounding it off to a nice figure.
Yeah, and it's just another way, of course,
to give it back to the Catholic Church.
Yeah, well, it's not just for making money either. It's just another way of glorifying his violent past or what he claims to have been a violent past. I don't know. Just a douchebag.
He was paying taxes. He says he's donating it all.
He's got his teeth done. His hair looks nice and groomed.
Well, the government paid $50,000 for his teeth.
What the hell kind of teeth does he have in his mouth?
Who the hell knows? Lying teeth.
Lying teeth.
Teeth that make it easier. Teeth that make it easier for you to find.
I never heard. I mean, I understand the government will pay $500,000 for a toilet seat, but $50,000 for teeth for that liar?
Yeah, I know.
Come on. In the time we have a saying, it's called stop that teeth, which means shut your mouth.
Teeth.
Miss Can't Be Wrong says, Lou Profaci, tell us more. Yeah, Lou. I'm sure you're a member of the family I'm thinking of. So I would love for you to get a hold of me at fatbalditalian@gmail. I would love to talk to you. Let's see.
You go online to eBay and you look under John Elite memorabilia, whatever he's calling it now. Golden baseball bats, autographed pictures. They're probably autographed in blood. Probably Johnny Gebbett's blood. $299.
That's ridiculous.
I know how to turn the mob into money.
Jimmy Dean.
Cicero says, are you kidding me? Who would pay $2? Forget $299. Listen, and he sells them. Sells them all the time on his show. People want this shit. People have been brainwashed into by him, by the way, into believing that he was this big hitman, and he wasn't. But they'll buy his bullshit bats and knives and whatever else he sells.
He sells knives too. Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they used to sign butcher knives.
When I first seen him and I didn't know what he was about, and he started saying he's selling baseball bats, and he had the bat and he's like slamming it in his hand. I'm like, this guy can't be serious. He just can't be serious. And then I find out whether he used to play baseball, according to him, for the Tampa Bay College.
No, whatever college he went to, that he was.
But nobody could find.
He was being looked at by the pros, or he was recruited by.
He was being by the pros, by the FBI, the pros of the FBI.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, there's proof that he was an informant since the early '90s. Lou Profaci can't tell you any more than what I was told. Yeah, I understand, about this subject, but if there's anything you could tell me about
Roy DeMeo. Now, I heard some stories about Roy DeMeo. How he used to chop up bodies and throw them in the landfill, and once no body, no crime.
Yeah. Let's see.
People are buying it. I'm telling you.
Rats get bats.
Too lucky these days.
Rats get bats. Says Billy Bats was killed by John A-Light.
Yeah, right.
That's some good folks.
Yeah, I know.
Angel says, does it say John Gotti's Hitman? on the bats, I guess.
Thanks always for taking the time to speak with us. You're very respectful, professional. Oh,
You're very welcome.
Thank you for your service.
Absolutely. We have a brother, our youngest brother, did 2 tours. He did 2 years in the Army in Afghanistan, and he did 2 years as a Marine. He re-enlisted back as, he did Marine first, and then he did the Army for 2 years. So he spent 4 years in Afghanistan as a rifleman. He was infantry. He told me a story that he was manning a tower, very similar to what they do in American Sniper, where the guy sits on top of the tower, waiting to see who's walking around. And he said the 16-year-old Taliban wannabe kid grabbed a mortar and a piece of PVC pipe and shot it at him, missed him by 16 feet.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it didn't blow him off.
It blew him off.
He
got shrapnel in his chest. He has stents in his heart. He stutters terribly.
I haven't seen him since 2003, the year my son was born, and he lives
in Washington State.
Washington State. He's named after
Uncle Mikey.
Uncle Mikey. My father named him after his uncle.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Michael,
we made a mess of Afghanistan. We sure did, but that's politics. Who wants to get into that?
Yeah,
Did
really.
you guys have any interactions with Sam?
Oh, we certainly did. Michael Sullivan says, wow, Lou is related to Joe and Sal. Is he? Because that's what I'm trying to find out. Let me see. Miss Can't Be Wrong says, John A. Light, get your shine box. Michael Sullivan says, guys, we have Profaci's nephew in here. Yeah, listen, if that's the case, like I said, I know you might not want to be bothered, but please get a hold of me. I would love to talk to you about whatever.
Yeah.
James Mills.
Good rules, Salvation Only guys.
Let's see.
Late did kill JFK.
Did I kill JFK? Yes, I did. And Shanna helped.
Yes, yeah, oh yeah, Shanna A-Light. Yeah, she was
Shanna A-Light, yes. She helped.
She is a savage.
Can we interview Lou on the show?
Bad Andy was living in Florida since early 80s. He ran a crew in South Florida until 86. He went to prison. We never met him. He's full of shit.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Full of shit. Well, he was in Hawaii at the time, so he doesn't remember.
Supposedly, his podcast the other day, he was in, when it first came on, that he was in California. Then towards the end, he said that he was in Brooklyn.
What I'm looking forward to is John Gotti Jr.'s WITSEC podcast.
Oh, it looks great. Well, it's I think it's going to be it's going to be a series, I believe.
Maybe a series, huh?
A series?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, man. It looks fantastic.
I heard he wrote a children's book. I wish they would let him publish that children's book. It's got to be dynamite. He said one of his cellmates helped draw the illustrations for it. I mean, if he's got talent to help little kids, then let him do it. You know, what happened in the past happened in the past. This guy's a changed guy now. And if he's an excellent children's author, let him write books.
Well, like he said, you know, in that interview, it's sad. You know, they want the other stuff. They don't want that.
Yeah, they want the gory stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we related to Norman DuPont. We were related through marriage to Norman DuPont. Through our Aunt Nettie, who was Uncle Mikey's wife. Uncle Mikey is our relative. And she was our aunt through marriage, which made Norman her nephew through marriage.
Live and Let Live says, I hope some of you guys get a TV show because all this is very interesting and history has to remain because A Liar and his trolls are trying to change it. Yeah, absolutely. I think you two should get a TV show.
Yeah, I was thinking on doing a cooking show. Make pizza.
Why not? I mean, why not do something like that even on YouTube? You got stories. I mean, you doing cooking stuff. I know I'll watch it.
I'd love it. I'd love to do it.
Any one of you ever imagine having to survive by putting another man's name? Yeah, I mean, she's right on. You know?
That's true, Angel. Yeah.
He's making a nice living, from what I understand, on slamming somebody else. I mean,
yeah.
You know, enough of it.
If it wasn't for the name Gotti, we wouldn't even know he existed.
Exactly.
That's what he does.
He's riding on the coattails of another man.
Yeah, that's all he does.
And he doesn't even give respect. He doesn't even respect them.
No, Tommy, we're not married. We're brother and sister.
The brother and sister. God help me. It's hard enough being a sister.
Uh-huh.
Lexi
You guys
Johnson.
been married. Well, 54 years.
Jesus. That would be a long marriage.
We grew up together. We were inseparable as kids. We used to play. My mother had a closet underneath the stairway. We used to play post office. Remember we used to play post office?
Jesus.
My father would bring home, because he was a truck driver, so he'd bring home those boxes that you put the glasses in.
Yeah.
So we would make believe they were post office boxes, and we play post office. We were running our own little mob back then.
I bet.
We had the federal government under our skin.
Yeah, A-Light provided the stamps.
That's great. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Lexi Johnson. There's
light
no,
for us.
yeah. Lexi, there's no trailer, but if you YouTube with Sec Mafia, you'll find some stuff John Jr. has done, and you know some videos of him talking about it and stuff. It's really interesting. And he's been putting years in.
Daryl Strawberry during 7 inning stretches. Daryl Strawberry, I haven't heard that name in ages. Daryl Strawberry.
He does something now
With Elite? No.
With addiction. He helps people.
Does he?
Yeah.
That's good.
Didn't Daryl Strawberry live on in Bay Ridge, right along the water there? It was a big white house.
Oh no. Probably did. I don't know. You know more than we do.
I know he was homeless for a while, and some former Olympian athlete found him, and they eventually got married, and she turned his life around, and now they have their own centers for helping people get through addiction and that type of stuff. I think it's in Florida.
Probably.
I see them on Real Sports about, I think, right before the pandemic started, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Everything happens in Florida. Everything. They're either, if you watch America's Most Wanted, they're either leaving Florida, they're on the way to Florida, or they killed somebody in Florida.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know he was on that ESPN 30 for 30 with Doc Gooden.
Paul Canarsie. Are you talking about Canarsie, Brooklyn?
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. My parents used to drive me past the house in Bay Ridge and tell me. I thought, maybe I had somebody else.
Probably, yeah.
Michael Smith, thanks for the super chat. Did they ever see the ghost of Frank the Chico? You never saw him at the Ravenite, right? Let's see. What else we have here?
Yes, I did. Elite, did I supply Daryl Strawberry with crack? Yes, I did. And I believe Shanna is the one that packaged it up for you.
Yeah.
Made sure it was right on the money.
Yeah, she's the one.
I'm waiting for him to make a comment about, the.
Oh, don't be surprised.
I mean, I think it's going to be coming soon.
Yeah, he pops in.
Yeah.
Let him talk. Well, Sway slept with me, which he did not sleep with me, because if he did, I'd be part owner of $35 million. Because I'm no dummy. I would have made sure that he was out cold like a lightning. I would have grabbed that man's checkbook so fast, along with his baseball bats.
Well, you'd be getting half
that. The room.
You'd be getting half that baseball bat money right now.
I would have used one of his own knives on him.
Don't forget what
Easy Champion 89 FPS. Tell them about the video. This is like the 70th comment I saw. What video? Because I thought I did. Maybe I had the wrong video. Be specific, because I'm not sure if I know which one you're talking about. Let's see.
Oh, he was somewhere near Orlando.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Jimmy Dean says, cook us some gangster spaghetti sauce and tell us some gangster stories.
Absolutely, make gangster spaghetti. You know, I'm gonna name a dish. Pasta gialite. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Did their family? No, but
all kinds of fake meat in it.
Our father's side of the family were the supers across the street at 241 Mulberry.
Yes.
They were the supers there for years, and that's where my father wants us to put some of his ashes at 241.
Right in front of 241.
Oh, really?
That's right. It's right off the corner, Mulberry and Prince.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Let's see.
The 29th.
Yeah,
27th.
sure.
Hey, Light, did I supply Daryl Strawberry with crack? Yes, I did.
Jimmy Elite looks like yeah, he was pretty frightening looking. I had to like take a double take. I was like
who's Igor Bogdan, whatever. I can't even pronounce the name.
Bogdanov. His lips, he looked like he had some serious issues with some lip filler.
Who?
His brother.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy.
He was scary looking.
Yeah, it was a little.
There's a lot going on there.
Appearance.
I don't know what the story
Not
is.
that I'm making fun of anybody. I don't want to be accused of making fun of anybody. Everybody's got their own God-given gifts.
Yeah, well, apparently he had some cheek implants or something, and
oh Lord have mercy. He needs to talk to the Kardashians because, whoa, buddy, they missed his lips by a long shot.
Yeah, he gave some sort of explanation for it, but I don't know if it didn't sound very legit.
I mean, does the young kid who does the podcast with him, does he know anything about him, or he just helps him out?
Starstruck, I think.
The young Jewish kid that does his
Felix, I don't know. I think he found an opportunity and he took it, but I'm quite sure. I mean, if he's a pretty smart kid. If he researches stuff, and I'm sure he does, then he knows that A-Light is full of shit.
I think he's just in it for the money. I believe he gets paid a salary and he's a job, and
of course.
You know.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he has his own opinion, and he separates the job from the facts.
Felix is just a tool. He's probably right.
You think? Oh, yeah, probably. You think he like really makes $35 million?
Pastalita. Vinny B says, Marie, make us dinner, please.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Forget about it. You'll all be full.
She doesn't make me dinner.
Next week is my
got a wife.
Next weekend is my birthday. I'm coming to the Bronx and
yay, come.
I want a birthday dinner.
We'll take you to
We'll take you down to the neighborhood.
We'll take you down to the neighborhood.
Yeah, we're actually thinking about going to New York on Friday and Saturday. We were going to go to Queens, and
we're going on the 27th.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, I will.
Live on Mulberry Street must have been amazing back in the day.
Yes.
I agree.
It was a neighborhood. You can walk those streets at 3:00 in the morning. You had a craving for a cannoli at 3:00 in the morning. Ferrara's was open. You can get a cannoli. You wanted a slice of pizza, whatever you wanted. Those streets was safer than walking on the White House lawn.
Oh, the Axis. What was the best pizza in there? Best pizza was Ray's and Sal's. Sal's, yeah.
Sal's is closed, though.
Yeah.
The pandemic took a toll on that.
The best calzones in the city, but they closed up.
You're going to New York, FBS? You're not scared of a lead? Bring him on.
No, I'm good. I'm not worried about him. Oh, shit.
Well, he might bring you a bat as a birthday present. You never know.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd like to give
me autograph it for you.
Autograph it for you.
With his knife. He'll carve his name in it for
John you. Elite planned the Castellano hit on John
Gotti Senior's orders.
Well, he had inside information, didn't he?
Now, from what I understand, he said that he was told before the hit happened. So he he was made aware of it?
That's what he says. He says he was waiting at a Lucchese guy's house, waiting for the order, and he didn't agree. He didn't agree that Castellano should be taken out. But knew it was going to happen, and he was waiting.
Well, a call. An 11-year-old's opinion is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. He said he was waiting at a guy's house, and he was waiting to get the call that the hit was complete. Like he would know. Who the fuck would tell John A-Light? It's crazy shit.
There were a few Rays now. Which one? I think the one on Prince Street was the first.
What?
Ray's Pizza.
Yeah, that neighborhood back then.
Pizza we get back then on Prince Street?
No, Lafayette Street.
It was on Lafayette?
They sold more than pizza, I understand.
That neighborhood back in the day must have been awesome.
It was definitely awesome.
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely awesome. When I go back, I get butterflies in my stomach when I go back now because it brings back such good memories. The family environment, the whole neighborhood.
If you watch Pope of Greenwich Village, that's the neighborhood.
That's the neighborhood
when we lived over there.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
We used to hang out. That's when video games first came out. We would sit there. We play Pac-Man in Lucy's candy store. We'd bring like 55 cents with us, and we'd eat candy all night long. And we would rig the machine that when you tie a string around the quarter a certain way, you could trip it. And we kept tripping it. We had one kid who kept winning it, Pac-Man.
In fact, the last scene of that movie, I was walking home from school up Spring Street, and they stopped everybody from going anywhere until that scene when he jumps out of the social club. What's his name?
Al Pacino?
No,
Burt Roberts.
Burt Young.
Oh, Burt Young. Oh, yeah. After the poison.
Yeah.
Now I was there when, I don't know if you remember. Remember Eton Pates, the
Yeah.
young boy that was kidnapped. That's when I was there. I remember his poster all over the place in the neighborhood because he was kidnapped in the village.
Didn't they just solve that?
No, they thought they did. They still don't. They thought it was one of the guys in the neighborhood in the village.
Yeah.
They thought he did something in the basement, but they never put two and two together.
Oh.
The parents still live in that same apartment. They still have the same phone number and everything.
He brings up Main Streets. That's back in the 70s. Our uncle, matter of fact, was in a small scene in Main Streets. My father's brother Robert.
Uncle Bobby.
Yeah.
Another great movie. Did you say, Marie? Did you say his parents still live?
Did I see who?
Eaton Pates.
I didn't see him. I mean, he lived in the village. I remember because I used to catch the bus.
The parents are still alive.
Yeah, the parents are still alive.
And you said they still live there?
They still live in the apartment. They still have the same phone number. They believe he's going to come home one day.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Such a shame.
But I used to catch the bus on the corner of Lafayette and Prince to go to school. I went to an all-girls Catholic school, St. Alphonsus, up on Thomas Street. And I used to catch the bus. And as I was waiting for the bus, there was a big telephone pole. And they had his picture up on the pole. He had just been taken days before that. Right there on the corner of Lafayette and Prince, right there.
He's talking about the garage. I never ate there, but
I just ate there about maybe 3 months ago. Me and my wife.
That's good for fish. If you like fish, the Gratazor is a good place for fish.
I like Bronx Tale? Yes, I like Bronx Tale. Matter of fact, the one who killed Sonny at the end, when I used to work out at Planet Fitness over here, a friend of mine who brought me into Planet Fitness and signed me up, like 2 weeks later, he was there. I forget his name. And he does screen art for shirts. And he has really long hair. And this is like 7-8 years ago. And he said, "This is the gentleman who killed Sonny at the end of Bronxville." As you kidding me? Is that his name?
Well, Lilo Brancato was on.
Right. That was another good podcast.
He said that kid was actually up for the role of Kalogita.
Right.
And Lilo got it instead. He said, but they're still like best friends.
Well, let's face it, Leo looks just like Robert De Niro.
Yeah. Exactly like him.
He lives, I don't know if he still, he lived in Pelham Bay, that gentleman.
Oh, really?
And he used to go to the Planet Fitness off of Westchester Avenue. That's an ad.
Yeah, I believe he said his name was Phil. I don't remember his last name, though.
He gave me his business card years ago. I probably have it in one of my drawers.
Johnny Elite had sexual reassignment journey.
Oh, D. Allen Brock, that's the comment of the night. You win, my friend. Oh my! I should send you a super chat. Jesus Christ, that's fucking.
Is he meeting my cheeks?
No.
No. Jimmy A. Light. We were talking about
his brother.
That's why he's got cheek implants. He's got nuts there. He looks like a squirrel with nuts in his face anyway.
La Signora was the owner of Cafe Napoli.
Thank you, Yankees for life. Let's see.
Wow. Pelham Bay had some hot girls back then. Yeah, now they're grandmothers.
Let's see what else. You guys got any more questions? Because I'm going to let Jimmy and Marie go in a second. FBS, can you grow hair? Depends where you mean.
That's TMI. Too much information.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get it. I can grow hair on my whole head. except a few years ago when I was in jail, because I always shaved my head. Well, not always, but I started to get into that years ago. And I went to jail, and I didn't want to shave my head with a razor. I used to only use clippers back then, and I couldn't, obviously, in jail. So I decided to let it grow. I started to see how thin it was getting, and I realized, holy shit, this isn't a choice anymore. This is necessary. Like, I have to shave my head.
Yeah.
I'm going bald. So I have hair everywhere, but it's
Yeah.
very thin up top, and I look ridiculous. And yeah, I'm not gonna. Nobody will ever see.
Angelo Ruggiero, no. Thoughts on Godfather 3? Nah, it was all right. It was a little too long, but
Somebody wants to know how you connected with us.
Me?
We reached out to Chris. And
Yeah,
it's-
they got a hold of me on Instagram.
This can't be wrong. I love you, but it's Jimmy.
Miss Can't Be Wrong is an absolute sweetheart.
And she's allowed.
yeah, why
I call him Jerry sometimes too. I get
don't-
confused.
I don't sell ice cream.
Yeah.
Tom
No,
and Jerry.
Jimmy and Marie actually got a hold of me on Instagram a few weeks back, and they told me their story. They told me who their great uncle and aunt were, and they told me about the story of the Ravenite and all that stuff. And I asked them if they would like to come on and tell their story, and they said yeah. And it went so well last week that I figured, why don't we make this a regular thing, because they're great guests to have. Even if we just sit here and bullshit, it's fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We enjoy spending time with you guys. I love listening to Shanna.
Yeah.
I think she is phenomenal. She is, I'll stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning listening to you guys. And you're on that late sometimes.
Yeah.
4 o'clock in the morning. I
Thank
love
you.
doing my little phone, listening to my little earplugs.
Yeah, that's very sweet of you to say. And yeah, me and Shan have been doing a lot of the stuff about addiction and recovery.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
And
seems
it's
to be,
important.
Yeah, it's very good that, like
Yeah.
I said in my email about my personal
Yes.
yeah, I'm finding out that there's a lot of people that, a lot of my subscribers and stuff that
Yeah.
that have issues or had issues, and they enjoy when we do that. So I think
They
from now
need to know
on,
they're not alone.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I think from now on Friday and Saturday, that's all me and Shanna are going to do. You know what I mean? We're just
Good.
going to do shows on addiction and recovery, because she has the experience as a nurse, and I, of course, have the experience as an addict. So
yeah.
And she's so soothing when she talks. She's so
Yeah.
soothing
Oh, yeah.
and calming, and she helps you relax and get these feelings out. She's amazing. I think she's amazing.
Her responses are
Thank
right
you.
on.
Oh
It's like,
yeah,
right on.
yep.
yeah, I appreciate
He's up
that.
at 5 in the morning. He's up until
I'm
2
up
in
at
the
4
morning.
in the morning.
4 in the morning. He stays up and listens.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll be glad to hear that, because she's got some insecurities about all this and stuff, but I think she's doing a great job.
She's
Yeah,
doing
excellent.
phenomenal.
Oh, you know what, Dean? We forgot the shirts. I know we sent you
We'll do that next week.
a picture of them. of
Oh,
the shirts.
okay.
And we
Sounds
have a
good.
couple of marketing ideas, this and that, and I think it'd be it'll definitely outsell what he's doing with those bats.
With those
I can tell you
baseball
that.
bats.
Okay, sounds good to me. I'm all for it.
Especially the idea that we have on one side, and then on whatever side your insignia, and then what it said. What I forget what it says again on that shirt.
You don't. It's a Cirelli thing.
It's
you
a
wouldn't
Cirelli
You
thing.
wouldn't understand.
I
Yeah,
always
yeah,
got it for Christmas from my aunt. Sometimes my memory goes in and out.
yeah. I saw that's a cool shirt. Did you see this question already from Angel?
You guys ever
Eat
eat
'em-
Ruggiero?
No, but we ate at Angelo's a couple times. But I always wanted to eat in Ruggerio's, but my father had some sort of problem, I think, with the owner. Going back when they were younger, and he never wanted to go in there.
You see, our father grew up in that neighborhood. He was born there, so he lived in that area all his life. When my mother and father got married, they moved to the island, and then when they got divorced, my father moved right back to Marlboro, to Lafayette Street.
Yeah.
And he grew up there his whole life. That's
You remember seeing Angelo? No.
John Caniglia.
We might have. Again, we didn't know who these guys were back then.
And when we did, well, we didn't eat restaurants downtown on Mulberry Street when he had those credit cards. We would go somewhere.
Oh no, we go to the Villa Benza on Grand Street, and
Borelli's.
that was on
I mean,
Hempstead.
yeah.
Is Rayo's any good? I've never ate there.
That's a good way to end off. You want to tell the credit card story again one more time?
Yeah, jeez. We would go out to eat. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'd go a little bit uptown, and we'd have a big steak dinner. And my father would rush us out the door, and my mother would be sitting there chewing her nails, and my father would be like, "Just wait outside." He'd pay with a credit card. Back in the day, they didn't run the card through a computer. They had a book, and they'd match the numbers up in the book. If the card didn't show up as bad, it went through, and they slid that thing, and he would pay with stolen credit cards, and we'd walk away thinking, "Thank God we didn't get all arrested."
I forget where we were. I think we were in Chinatown.
Yeah.
And the waiter came back. He goes, "You don't look like an A. Smith."
Yeah, you see, you don't look like a Smith. And my father kind of looked at him like, "Shut up."
He goes, "I don't have my wallet. I left it home, and this and that." And
Even if he did have his wallet, it wouldn't have mattered.
he was.
He was a character.
Oh yeah.
But that's what they did.
I know. I got a lot of Jordache jeans and Pumas and members only jackets.
I used to shop on Delancey Street, if anybody knows that area.
Or Orchard Street.
No, I used to go to where the Hasidic Jews were on Delancey Street.
That was on Orchard Street.
Or on Broadway. I go on Broadway
also, but Orchard Street where all the Jewish stores are.
Yep. And that's right by my
Rayo's has a waiting list, I guess.
Live and
now
let live.
it's even worse. Now you got to show your COVID card to get into these places.
Do you?
So if you plan on going to eat anywhere, make sure. I know in New York State you got to have a COVID ID card.
Yeah, I have one, but I totally forgot about that. I forgot that's.
Did you buy a Michael Jackson jacket? No, I didn't buy. I never bought a Michael Jackson jacket.
I did. I got a picture of myself with the black.
Do you really?
Yeah.
And the one line. Yeah.
You got to put that on.
I think it would be. I don't think it would fit me anymore, but yeah.
I don't know. Who's Jeff? Yankees for life. You and Jeff? Does he mean me and Jerry?
No. Jeff is the guy I have on with me. Jeff Nadine.
Oh,
great guy.
Yes.
A lot of the times
You guys are great team.
I liked the way he blew dry his hair the other night.
Oh, I know, that was funny.
It was hysterical. I think he's hot.
Yeah, I remember you commenting that.
It was the way to go.
That made him happy. Yeah, I showed my wife that clip where he was blow drying his hair. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was
it's real hair, that's for damn sure.
What's
favorite Rocky movie? Number one.
The first one.
Without it, Adrian.
Yeah.
Adrian.
I love this.
What does that mean, Nicky Momando?
Where does it say that?
Someone in Mama Luke.
Is that what that means?
I don't know. Sonny and Marie.
Did Jerry wear Sergio? Actually, did Jimmy? Yes, Sergio Valente. Yes, I used to wear those jeans. I don't know what Jerry wore. I don't know. Wasn't he related to A-Light?
Who?
Jerry? Wasn't he related to A-Light?
Yeah, Jerry A-Light. That's the brother of Jimmy.
Yeah, he was on Jerry Seinfeld, wasn't he?
Jerry Seinfeld, yeah. He was the one with the crazy hair.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, remember? I mean, really. He looked like he had an afro the other night sitting in front of that tree. I thought he had an afro. I was like, what the hell did he do to his hair? Is he trying to change his appearance? Does he think he's being watched?
He sells knives for the kids. He sells bats for the kids. And he sells doggy dentist kits for the kids to practice being a dentist on a dog.
Well, at least $50,000 is being used somewhere.
Jesus.
All
right. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on.
We want to thank you.
Yeah, I'll talk to you obviously soon. But like I said, if you want to come on next Monday or whenever you want, just
definitely be here.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
All right, sounds good. I'll see you guys. Well, I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks,
Salute,
Chris.
everybody. Salute.
Everybody said hello.
Yep. All right. Good night, guys.
Okay. Good night.
Salute. All right. That was great as usual. I love the Cirellis. Always have a good time talking to them. And like I said, and they seem to agree, they'll be on again sometime. You guys seem to enjoy them. So I'm gonna go, guys. I will, the truth. I'll check that out. Listen, I'm not done for the night. Speaking of Jeff, me and Jeff will be back on in about half hour, maybe a little less. I guess I'm just taking a little break here because I'm not sure if he's ready yet and stuff. So I hope you guys come back in a half an hour and join us, um, because there's of course always more to be said. So Chris, is that a jail shirt? No, it's a polo shirt like every other shirt I wear. But I understand, you know, the mistake. So thanks, guys. I'll see you back here in about a half an hour. All right. Until then, salute.